Wow.
Wow.
Goodbye Horses.
Goodbye Horses, the stable podcast. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
With his favorite.
Thank you,
question
Brandon.
podcast.
That's good. That's a good one. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stable Podcast. How's everybody doing today?
All right.
Yay!
Ow!
Woo!
Just
We're
keep
having so much fun.
buy the vinyl, buy the pops. They love it.
That's right.
Get some wonderful laser cut
engraved.
stuff.
Yeah, get some
art.
laser engraved wood art over there. You got some
Right.
Funko Pops over there, and
right.
and then the food, of course. You can't go
Stick
wrong
That's
with
right.
food.
comics, food,
Oh, yeah.
oh my.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to PopCon Louisville 2024. And
Woo!
we hope that you all are having a great time, checking out the vendor booths and talking with people, meeting new people, seeing really cool cosplays, spending all your money. That's what we enjoy about PopCon is watching people spend all their money.
That's what it's all about.
Anyhow, we are the Stable Podcast. We are a professional wrestling podcast. You may
Not to be confused with a professional wrestling podcast.
That's right. We're a professional wrestling podcast, not a professional wrestling podcast. Yeah. So we're gonna introduce our panel here in just a second. But welcome to episode 29 of the Stable Podcast.
Woo!
We just got done, and just so you know, the timing for the Stable Podcast is matching up to a pretty significant pay-per-view event coming up this same weekend of PopCon.
Yeah.
We're going to be driving home on Sunday night, hoping and praying that social media doesn't ruin anything for the AEW
Yeah, right.
pay-per-view in Wembley.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
That's right. So don't text us, doggone it. We don't want to know. Anyhow, on episode 29, I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to start to my left and introduce my left, not your left. I'm going to
They're the same.
well, no, my left is his right. His left is no one is there.
I love this show.
Anyway, let's go ahead and introduce our
So great.
panel,
This is so
starting
great.
to my left.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Daniels. I am a man of many hats. I'm a podcaster. I'm a nerd. I love conventions. But most of all, I am a professional wrestling fan, not a professional wrestling fan.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about something that we all love and enjoy.
Yeah. And to my right,
This is Josh, professional wrestling fan, and never been in a ring except to make funny pictures.
that's right. And I, of course, am your host, Big Don. I'm a professional. I have wrestled. I have never been a professional wrestler.
Oh, okay.
And I have never been a wrestling professional.
Well, there you go.
That'd be a hard way to keep a job.
To be a wrestling professional.
Yeah.
A wrestling professional.
Isn't
That's
that what
interesting.
isn't that what like white culture is? Is they're wrestling professionals?
Yeah, I would say so.
They are professional
Yeah.
wrestling fans. Like, they get paid to be wrestling
They are
fans.
professional
Right.
wrestling fans, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
believe we
We're
just-
none of those.
No.
No.
Anyhow,
But thank
So-
you to PopCon for having us here.
yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
absolutely.
Thank you very much. Now, we have been talking a lot about introducing people to things. If you've gotten a chance to check out our Established Facts podcast from PopCon, we talked a lot about introducing people to gaming. We were on our friend Jacob's podcast, Geek Speak, talking about introducing people specifically to role-play gaming. I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about. I want to turn back the clock. I had a really good conversation with our friend Tommy.
Okay.
That was staying in. He's staying in our Airbnb with us, and I was just asking him a little bit about how he became a fan of professional wrestling, and really what got him into the passion that he has now. So this is what I want us to talk about. And the title that I have for this episode is The Best There Is, The Best There Was, and The Best There Will Be.
Ooh. Okay.
And what I want to discuss
Okay.
is exactly that. I want to talk about who we feel like are the best wrestlers, or maybe just our favorites. Maybe they weren't the best. If you were a huge fan of the Blue Meanie, maybe that's your thing. But thinking right, exactly. But thinking about as we were coming up in the generations of the wrestling that we have been exposed to, who do we look on as kind of those iconic characters? Who do we look on now in the present as those quintessential personalities? And then who can we look to the future to hopefully continue to carry on some of those legacies? Okay? So that's kind of the general scope of how I would like to see our discussion go.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I also understand how the three of us work, and it probably will deviate several times, and that is totally fine.
No way.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask:
No way.
Are we talking about the whole package, or
it's called the total package.
The total package.
are we talking about the total package, or are we just talking about Mike? Obviously, mic work is one element. Are we talking about technical wrestling prowess, or is it? Are we?
I think it's
general?
open for interpretation.
Okay. Yeah.
You tell me
That works for
why.
me.
You tell me why they are. If you are a fan of Roddy Piper's mic skills, but you did not like how he wrestled, that doesn't necessarily make him not the best.
That's true.
It makes him the best in a certain area. So I think if you go ahead and define to me or define to us how you see them as the best in whatever that definition to you is.
Okay. I got it.
So we're looking back
Pass
right
first.
now. We're
Okay,
looking back.
So we're going back in time.
We're going back, baby.
Okay.
And you can specify era. You can specify however you would like.
So a couple.
'Kay.
A couple just immediately hit me. I would say for me, when I was growing up, the first. This is going to sound so funny, and I know you guys will know who I'm talking about. The first actual bad guy character heel I got into that I thought was really funny is Nails. Do you guys remember Nails?
Okay, Nails. All right.
Awful.
Yeah.
And I think he was very awful, but you wanted to keep watching, like a train wreck kind of.
Yeah.
I think for me, my first, I would say also my first, there you go.
Wow.
What a guy. For those who don't know, he wore a prisoner outfit and he came out and, he was.
Got beat up by the big boss man.
He got beat up a lot. Him and Boss Man had a big feud in the early 90s. Yeah.
Yep.
And then another thing that I really enjoyed, a character heel. Wasn't I don't think he was a very good. That's a good point. Wasn't a very good wrestler.
Yeah.
But such a dang funny heel was Doink the Clown.
Doink. Yeah. That's great.
Underrated in my very underrated.
I agree. And then he ended up having Doink, Dink, Wink, and Pink. You guys remember the three other little little clowns that he had with him in his posse? I remember him and Crush had a feud. You guys remember that?
WrestleMania 10.
Yeah. See, there you go.
That one.
Maybe 9.
They
yeah.
were 9,
yeah. There you go.
Oh man, I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah, you're old.
Appreciate you.
You're old.
Thank
You're getting schooled from the sidelines. Okay. I like those.
Yeah.
Those are a good start.
Those kind of resonate with me
yeah,
when
no,
I was
those
a
are
child
good.
anyway.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Joshy, do you have any or you want me to go?
I do. I have a couple actually.
Okay.
So, did you specifically call out heel? I don't remember.
No, I said
Okay.
your favorite
No.
favorite
Okay. So
legacy wrestler.
Absolutely. So, these are going to seem stereotypical, but
Yep.
having watched enough, that this is where I landed on, is Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Bret Hart.
Okay.
Okay.
And they all were for different reasons and slightly off-kill. Obviously, Rick probably had the longest career.
Yeah.
Hogan made the most money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
Bret Hart showed how technical prowess with not a lot of personality can still make you the best performer in the business.
Yeah.
And I was a Hulk Hogan mark. I was all about to say your prayers, take your vitamins. I was that guy.
What you gonna do, brother?
That's right. Ric Flair is the dirtiest player in the game, and he earned that moniker. But he held championships across the country, wrestled around the world, and had a namesake even into his 50s, where we were just like, why is he keeps going? Because he's still that good.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that
It reminds me a lot of Jeff Jarrett right now.
Oh, Bret. Oh, my gosh. Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bret Hart, career ended, and yes, he blames Goldberg. I'm sorry, freak accidents happen. And I'm not saying that Goldberg was the best in the ring at the time, but you got hit in the forehead with a standing sidekick that many people have taken many times.
That's very true, yeah.
I hate that there's bitterness there, but I can only imagine how much better he would have continued to get had his career not been shortened.
Yeah.
I think
if he actually wanted to be in WCW.
Yeah, that's legitimate.
There was a struggle there because he joined WCW, and then 2 weeks after joining, his brother died.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
But I still, when it comes to because the interesting thing about that is, I know, like, my wife would be like, Undertaker. Like,
Yeah.
And my struggle with Undertaker is he was present until 2022.
Right? Yeah. Like,
Sure, yeah.
So I don't know if I
absolutely.
could put him in that versus the other three were pretty much out of the game
Right.
within the last 5-10 years.
Yeah,
So
I would agree.
yours?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of already mentioned him a little bit, but when I'm thinking about wrestlers and characters that are just those iconic, I won't say not necessarily like Mount Rushmore characters, but they are characters that when I look back on me being a kid, getting into professional wrestling, these are the people that just flash forward in my head. For the same reason that you said pushing off Undertaker, I'm going to push off Sting because he literally just retired.
Man.
So I'm going to hold
guy.
off on him.
Okay.
You know, spoiler, he'll be in my present.
Sure. Sure.
But Roddy Piper, hands down, the best non-world champ we've ever seen.
Roddy Piper. That's right.
He is one of my go-tos. I just remember that kilt and leather jacket and not giving a crap about who he was talking to.
No.
He was the best anti-hero we have ever seen.
That's a really great way to put him, as an anti-hero.
Because people loved him, so you'd think he was a face. But he was not a face. He was not a heel.
Kind of like
was the guy who fell in between.
Yeah. He kind of like Seth Rollins just a little bit.
Kind of.
Just
Kind of,
teeters that line
Or
between
more-
face and heel.
I would almost say more so. Like I will agree with you to an extent on Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
But Randy Orton is probably my.
That's probably the better
my,
one. Yeah.
Modern day equivalent.
There you go.
Well, here's your other one is CM Punk.
CM Punk, sure.
CM Punk,
CM Punk
yeah.
is a modern day Roddy Piper.
Yeah. I can
absolutely.
See that. I can see that.
Yeah.
So Roddy
Okay.
Piper is one. Another one that when I just think about like being a kid and maybe it's more sentimental than it is actual, like he was great in the ring or he was great on the mic.
Yeah.
He was just somebody that I remember being so iconic. Hugh Morris
Oh, yeah.
was somebody that
General Erection.
Yes. He was
I
somebody-
forgot all about that
Yeah.
name until you said that.
I know.
When I was talking to Tommy this morning about wrestling stuff and like what
That's
got us, and
awesome.
we both commiserated on how we were both Power Plant kids and how we used to wake up on
Yeah,
Saturday morning
man.
and watch WCW Power Plant.
Yeah.
And I remember Hugh coming out almost every week and wrestling on Power Plant. And maybe it's because he was kind of a mid-card guy.
Yeah, he was a mid-carder, but he was a
There was
workhorse, though.
something about him, his charisma in the ring, the fact that he was just memorable in my head. You know,
Yeah.
another guy that I think about all the time is Laparca. Like never, he
Oh,
was
man,
yeah,
let's
like
go.
never a huge high flyer like the rest of the luchadors. But you just remember the chairman of the
The
WCW.
chairman of the WCW,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like he was the guy.
Oh, yeah.
That you're just like, how does this dude do what he's doing? Like
And
it's
get
kinda
away with
crazy.
it.
And
It's
continue
kinda
to do it,
crazy.
yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
Like
man.
and you know, you brought up Nails, and he hasn't wrestled in years and years and years, but somebody I also thought of that I loved to watch in the ring, and I wish he would have had the push that he deserved. And I know I've brought him up on our podcast before, Billy Kidman.
Oh, let's
Billy
go.
Kidman. That dude,
Shooting Star Press.
Shooting Star
Oh,
Press, was
I was so mesmerized by
Yes.
that move when I was a kid, or when I was young in my
Same.
teens. I was
Same.
like,
This
that's
version
insane.
was scary.
it was scary.
Well,
It
you have
was
to
so
understand
good.
too. With I know we're still talking about past, but to compare to the present, now you see like people doing flippy doos all the time, right?
Right.
And it doesn't feel as special.
That's
Back
true.
then, when he did that, you were like, okay, nobody doing that on TV.
Nobody's doing this.
Right.
So when Evan Bourne brought it out with the airborne version,
Yes.
and it
Yes.
took,
That's
he
right.
got
Yeah.
real height and came down on it.
Yeah.
Or when you see the freak of nature that is Brock Lesnar do it
Oh my god.
clear across
And that
the
scared
ring.
the heck out of me when he did that at WrestleMania.
Right.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
But Billy Kidman, like always got the rotation. He always hit it nearly every time. But it looked like he was falling on the dude.
Yeah, yeah.
It really
Upside
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like,
Yeah, I
there was
wish
just
he had got a
something about-
push. He
something
should have got a
about
proper
Billy.
push.
He did. He beat Hulk Hogan, remember?
Oh,
In WWE?
No, in
Yeah,
WCW.
that's what I mean.
oh, he
the
did?
new- in the
Oh
new
my
Blood
gosh,
storyline?
I remember that.
Yeah, I put him through a table. It was awful.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Yeah, see, we got somebody that remembered it.
Okay, somebody in the crowd remembers it. Okay.
I was there when the ship
gosh.
went down. I said,
Oh,
"WCW till it
man.
Oh
died."
my gosh.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah.
4 times. Yeah,
Oh, my
4 times.
gosh. No way.
Yep.
That's wild to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. I think somebody else. Well, I don't know. I don't know that I would classify her as a past because she has come back out. But like Lita was always one of my
Sure.
favorites.
Yeah.
But she's come back and wrestled like in the last couple of years. Whether it be in a Royal Rumble or
Yeah.
or kind of a one-off match and.
Trish Stratus did
Trish
like 3
Stratus
months.
did as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I guess that being said, those are I think those are all really fun and great examples of like, and I honestly like a lot of them, like lesser known, lesser famous people, right? The
Yeah,
personalities.
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
like when you said Nails, it's like 6
Who-
people are gonna
Who's
be like,
going to know who Nails is?
yeah,
right?
exactly. Like Nail, what? Who?
You know, yeah.
Right. The giant
man.
Gonzalez? Who is that? Like guys
Oh,
like
my
that.
God.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
oh man, that.
Walking door that was him.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ever want to see a guy who was the Great Khali before the Great Khali, the Giant Gonzalez.
Great Khali could go in the ring though.
Yeah, that's true.
Giant
Yeah,
Gonzalez couldn't go in the
He couldn't.
crowd.
No.
He was
not
he
at
was
all.
literally a gimmick. Just
He
like
was. He was.
I love that outfit he wore.
Yeah,
I remember when I was a kid, I thought that was actually
The
his
muscle
body.
suit. Yeah.
Yeah. No joke. I was like,
good
whoa,
stuff.
I want to.
Fur.
That's so cool.
Hair. It
Fur.
looked like fur.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
What a time to grow up as a kid
Oh
in
my
wrestling.
gosh.
The character
Undertaker.
era of like pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, just
was
those gimmicks.
do you remember Tatanka?
Tatanka? Yeah.
He
He came out Tatanka came out in a Royal Rumble
a real late one, like
few
later
years
in the years.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Out
Like,
of nowhere.
Like within the last, I want to say 5 years he was
Yeah.
in one.
Do you guys remember Glacier from WCW?
Yes.
I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, so I'm like, we
Sub-Zero.
finally got Sub-Zero in WCW.
Sub-Zero.
So
That's
Glacier, yes, storyline wise, was the crossover with WCW and Mortal Kombat. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be based off Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Well, Glacier actually was early on involved with AEW because he's friend of Cody Rhodes,
Yep.
and they were using him, I think, as a coaching talent, and he may even still be associated with it. But when he came out that time and did the whole gimmick in AEW,
yeah.
I think he was even in the original All In before AEW happened. was
I
like,
think he
is
was,
still
yeah.
going?
it. That's cool. You know what? Good on you.
Some people don't know how to quit wrestling, man.
That's it. Good
Yeah.
on you. Good on you. All right. So let's talk about present.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about present. And I'm going to say present up to January of 2024. So anybody who's been introduced in 2024 or up and coming, we'll save for later. But let's say has not all the way up to 2023.
It's interesting because I think
Okay.
I understood the assignment differently
Okay.
I think I did too. Yeah.
because I look at stars of today versus stars of tomorrow.
Okay.
So the names that came to mind for me, stars of today, your Seth Rollins, Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes, Randy Orton,
Sure.
Roman Reigns, these guys that are namestays in WWE or even over in AEW,
Yeah.
Kenny Omega and
Yep.
Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Adam Copeland, these guys that have really already made a name for themselves and have shown up. And
no, I think that's probably a better way to. Yeah, that's probably a better way.
A more modern era, right? Like kind of who's been there for a little bit,
Versus when we talk about the future.
I've got some for the future. Yeah,
we'll get there in a minute. But for me, I think about the guys I just named: Cody Rhodes, Bryan Danielson.
Man.
Cody Rhodes is a shining star of what. When WWE actually let somebody do what they knew they could do, they're going to stand. And Roman Reigns' smartest decision, even though I believe that the Bloodline storyline went on entirely too long, was to go heel, because now he's the most cheered guy on SmackDown.
Yep.
Except maybe Cody, and it depends on what part of the country you're in. And it's the same thing. You kind of look back at your Randy Orton's and Seth Rollins over on Monday Night Raw. Like, these guys are getting great reactions everywhere. We're back over to AEW. Bryan Danielson, Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's not in the main event card whatsoever.
Right.
And he is over in every building he walks into.
It's true.
And Bryan Danielson's about to go for career versus title at Wembley, and really think he might actually lose, and I'm not happy about it, but also super happy for him. Anyways.
Right. His career would not have been tainted by him losing in Wembley.
No.
So I think as far as the best there is right now, Seth Rollins is a guy that I think about because he is so good at really captivating the audience. Another guy that I would say is kind of and he's getting later in his career, and there are several people that have retired that are his age, and he's still going. But reminds me a lot of Seth Rollins is Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho is a guy who it doesn't matter if he's in the title picture or not. It doesn't matter if he's on the main card or in the mid card. The dude just brings it. Like, he is entertaining. He plays the crowd. He's a great heel. He's a great face. He loves to push new talent.
Yeah.
He is just a guy that you look at him and you go, how could you not want to be a guy like Chris Jericho? How could you not want to?
He's got it going for him all the way around.
Yeah. And when he finally does retire, I truly feel like is a first ballot Hall of Fame kind
He deserves all the accolades.
100%.
100%.
He's somebody who his career has transcended the last 30 years of wrestling.
He's another guy that bet on himself.
Yes.
He left WCW.
He really did,
And just was huge as soon as he went to WWF. And then he left WWE and started with AEW, and it was like a brand new situation.
Absolutely. And even before he became a wrestler who was in a big marquee company, the man traveled to Mexico. He traveled to Japan. He learned and was in love with what he does already.
Yeah.
And he has allowed that love to really push his career into its 30-plus year mark at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the man he can still go. He's still entertaining as heck. And the fact that he continues to cycle in new talent that needs that push, and he's not afraid to take a pinfall to help bolster that career of a new talent, or somebody, even if they're not a new talent, somebody who just has not gotten an opportunity to be the head of their own story, right?
Of course,
He put Sammy Guevara in a situation where Sammy Guevara is a household name. Would Sammy Guevara had been there on his own merit? 100%. The dude is insane. He's incredibly talented, but being tethered to a guy like Chris Jericho is just gonna put nitrous oxide in your engine. Like, it's just gonna push you there faster.
As long as you're in front of the right fans.
If you're in front of the right fans, that's true.
Because I'm worried about Hook getting booed in Wembley.
Oh,
After he got booed in Cardiff.
Well,
Yeah, probably.
But I did hear What Culture make a visual that I think might get him cheered, which the whole hook symbol.
Yeah.
If they move the match late enough into the night where they can do Batman shine up into the...
They should do that.
yeah.
They need to do that. That'd be so great.
That'll be a great visual.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And Hook is also so young.
Yeah.
He is.
So young.
He's got a lot to learn still,
Yes.
too. I would say, so I have a couple, and they are quite literally a couple. And when I say one, you're going to know exactly who the other is.
A couple.
Couple in a way that one currently without the other doesn't feel right. And I'm going to talk about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I know you were. That's not where you thought I was going. The yin to their yang. Literally. Let's start with Drew. Man, that guy. He has totally reinvented himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's brought back the Scottish psychopath.
Yeah.
You know, which that's been a long time. I just wish we got Broken Dreams again. I would love to have that theme song back. But Drew gets to be just the biggest, I can't say here at this show, jerk is the friendly way to say it. And he gets paid to do it.
Yeah.
What a heel. But is he really? I mean, that's kind of like, you know, like, He's kind of the anti-hero in a way. You know, if you don't like CM Punk, there's your guy.
Yeah.
But I've always loved Drew. I mean, you know, Drew Galloway, or he was Drew Galloway in TNA, even before then when he was young and he was Vince McMahon's hand-picked person, and he came up.
And in three-man band.
Three-man band, yeah. I love Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I am all about him. I don't think I've ever been a bigger fan of the guy until recently.
Yeah. I still think that one of his, and I know that this is not what we're talking about, but to deviate slightly, I still think one of his best matches I've ever seen was the triple threat between him, Sheamus, and Gunther.
Gunther?
That match was just so...
Yeah, that was at WrestleMania 39 last year.
Gosh,
what a match.
So good.
That is literally a banger of a match.
It is, yes.
It's if you've not seen that match,
it is so good.
You need to watch that match. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, man, what a guy. I mean, he you know, there were talks about him re-signing. We all kind of figured he would. You know, he's been killing it there in WWE. Him having his feud currently with the next man I'm going to talk about, CM Punk, has just done such an amazing thing for his career, but also for CM Punk's career. So let's talk about CM Punk. It's kind of weird. I didn't think I would talk about Punk because I've had
we don't have to.
I've had kind of a love-hate. I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with Phil Brooks.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, she's not here today, but she has actually started to actually slowly like CM Punk. And she at first could not stand him because of the
How does she feel about
AEW
Styles?
Stuff. She still does not like AJ Styles.
I don't like it.
She's still wrong.
I know. We're getting there. Okay,
we're working on it.
Working on it. All right.
Okay.
No, but I had a lot of. I wouldn't say hate. I don't hate anybody, but I had a lot of distaste. It left a bad taste in my mouth as a CM Punk fan with what happened in AEW.
Yes.
However, you kind of got to see it from his point of view. I do think that now that he has been brought back to WWE, which I will still say, I think he never should have went to AEW. I think he should have just waited and came back to WWE, because for me, when he came back in November this past November at Survivor Series, it just didn't feel the same. It didn't hit the same. Had that just been his first, he actually came back to wrestling at that moment, probably would have really made me mark out for that. So I feel that kind of, it didn't hit it as hard as it should have. But I feel that this is CM Punk's rebirth. I think that he's definitely, like, Triple H knows who he's dealing with. And he's really roped in CM Punk. Granted, Punk's been injured. But, you know, Punk doesn't have creative control. He doesn't have his own show to do what he wants and tell who he can and can't be there.
Uh-huh.
So when you let CM Punk have that much control, that's where his ego comes in, and he has an ego. I mean,
in
there's
for
no
a
doubt
penny, in
about
for
it.
a pound, man. In
Yeah.
for a penny, in for a pound. If
Yeah.
you give him a foot,
He's
he's going to
give him an inch, he'll
yard.
take a mile. Yeah,
yeah,
and
100%.
And I think that they, in a way, Tony Khan and AEW kind of created the monster.
Yeah,
And they let the monster run rampant.
I agree.
All over AEW, unhinged and without any control. And when he finally got fired and put in his place, that was maybe a little bit of a wake-up call to him, because he went and apologized to like TNA and WWE and all that.
And
He's like, look, I messed up, man.
I think you can also nod.
Yeah.
You could also give the nod to his upper management leadership too, just kind of allowing that to happen. Like, I like Tony Khan a lot.
Yeah,
but the differences between a guy like Tony and a guy like Paul Levesque are vast in number. And a lot of it comes to do with the fact that Paul Levesque is a former professional wrestler, WWE superstar, and he knows has a different understanding of the business. And not to take anything away from what Tony has done, because he is such a creative mind.
Absolutely.
He's such a great encouragement for professional wrestling.
Yeah.
But in general, when you allow for somebody who has the ego that CM Punk has to be in a leadership position, he's going to take as much as he can
and run with it.
100%.
And that's the problem, too, with Tony Khan, too. He, as you said, you made a really great point, Don, that Tony Khan is a rich guy who is playing with action figures for real. And I think he just wants everybody to be his friend. And in this business, that's not how that works. Like, you got to, not to say that the AEW is a horrible company. It's not a horrible company.
No.
It's a different flavor of a company.
It is.
It's it's like an ice cream shop. You've got
Exactly.
vanilla over here, and you got Neapolitan over here, and then you got AEW over here.
Yeah.
It's a different flavor.
Yeah.
If Tony changed a few things, it would be better for the company.
Yep.
But I think his problem is he wants to be nice to everyone, and he wants everyone to get along, which that's what you want. But you can't let people have that much control.
Well, and I think that was from what we've started to see, and wrestling in general was on the decline there for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And WWE is finally working their way back out of it, even though they're kind of struggling in areas right now post WrestleMania, but they always struggle post WrestleMania. It's that build up back towards the road to WrestleMania where you start to see them, and people are home more to watch the shows more. Bring it up. I think Tony. It seems like Tony Khan has learned that lesson from CM Punk. And with this concept that you hear about the disciplinary committee, I mean, Britt Baker got suspended for a couple weeks for running her mouth about MJF. And Britt Baker is literally one of his golden girls, and she still got suspended. So I think some stuff has been learned, but I think and this is a whole conversation in itself, but I think it will work its way into the best there will be, is that Tony Khan is a promoter versus a wrestler who is writing or being creative for wrestling. So Tony knows I've got to sell tickets or get the rights sold for what's coming next. Triple H is Paul Levesque, whatever, is much better of this is where we've come and where we're going. AEW's past is not really established enough yet to be that.
That's a fair
point.
We've
come to where we're going. We're 5 years in.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to put 50,000 butts in Wembley Stadium next year, which, if these rumors are true, is incredible. Next year,
That's crazy.
Not a rumor, they're doing All In Texas at the Texas Ranger Stadium. Tony Khan has already confirmed he's in talks to do an event in Australia, possibly at their soccer stadium.
Which is massive. And then they may be going to London. I don't know about Wembley, but they're going to go to London for Forbidden Door next year. Oh, wow. Really?
So
that's cool. I didn't know
a lot of people comment about, well, there's only 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people in the arenas, but they might be getting ready to sign a $200+ million deal with Warner Brothers, and they're going to sell tickets to these massive stadiums. Why? Because Tony is a promoter, and he knows that if you promote it the right way, people are going to buy tickets. And I think that's where we transition to the future, because both WWE and AEW have to promote their new stars if they want to continue to build on their current growth.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, you can't lean on the senior talent there. You know, you're Seth Rollins is only going to be around probably for another 3 years, maybe, if that. You know, guys like Randy Orton, you know, although I think he just actually re-upped his deal too, so he's going to be there maybe a little bit. You got to have your up-and-coming talent. That's the only way your company moves forward with that. So we want to go ahead and start talking about
that's actually
up and coming.
That's what I was getting ready to segue right into. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
I think that it's we talked about those who have kind of paved the way.
Yeah.
For being today's present superstar. We've talked about some of the greatest superstars that are currently wrestling and current professional wrestlers that are just really at the top of their game.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what we expect to come in the future. And I would like to bring up a couple of names real quick, just to start the conversation. In my opinion, there are 3 people that really pop out into my head as being those. Well, now 4 that are in a position, if they continue down the trajectory that they're on, to be just that next Seth Rollins, that next Randy Orton, that next generation of locker room leader. Right.
Okay.
Number 1 is Logan Paul.
Oh man.
I know. It's okay. You brought up CM Punk, but I'm going to say Logan Paul.
Oh, no.
In the iteration of who he is when he's in a wrestling ring.
Okay, that's fair.
Is one of the best performers athletically
that
we have ever seen.
I'll give him credit for that,
especially coming from no professional wrestling background.
That's very true.
The dude never ran on the indies.
Yeah, he had no prior experience.
He has real wrestling experience. He has real combat experience. He wrestled in high school. He wrestled in college.
Yeah.
He was on a scholarship in college for wrestling.
Yeah.
So he obviously has a talent.
Yeah.
He's got incredible athleticism. Nobody likes him, which makes him a perfect heel. You know, it's easy to play. And he is somebody who can, given time, be someone that we look on and say, you know what? He reminds me a lot of CM Punk back in the day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's that kind of guy that even if you don't like him in real life, he does bring something to the industry.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's undeniable.
And that's a fair point.
Right?
You make a good point, yeah.
The next is going to be Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, I was going to say her, yeah.
Tiffany Stratton is so awesome when it comes to really having a defined character. She is, and she's incredible
great
in the ring.
She is super athletic in the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of up-and-coming female wrestlers that are incredible. Alba Fire and
Isla Dawn.
And Isla Dawn.
Yeah.
Their tag team is so good.
I like them a lot, yeah.
So good. And you know what? I'm going to give props. I'm not saying that she, at the end of the day, in 20 years when we're talking about professional wrestling again, just as friends, that I'm going to remember a lot of significant points in her timeline. But I would say right now, Nia Jax actually has a lot of room to become somebody who can develop into a really big influence in the wrestling world. She's taken a lot of really big steps in her talent over the last year and a half. And Joshy and I were talking about it, too, the other day. And I said, you know what? My brother was giving me a hard time because I was like, you know, Nia Jax being the title holder, he's like, well, she's not any good. And I said, here's the thing. In Paul Levesque, I trust. If he sees something in Nia Jax, he's going to
There's a reason for that.
If he has enough faith in her to put a title belt on her, as an industry guy, there's something there that we maybe have not seen yet. And I'm excited to see what that comes. My last pick is Mr. L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
That dude is on track to be one of the best professional wrestlers in the future, and hopefully in the very near future. The guy has got charisma.
Absolutely.
He is great to watch in the ring. He's a lot of fun. His character choice is fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to see him have a really fun casual tag team with, thank you, sir, with Jay Uso. Jay and LA Knight together. The
Yeet and Yeah connection.
Dude, I would
I've been
love
thinking about that too. That would be so good.
They are so fun together. They are so funny.
Let's go.
They're great talent.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes guys who, you look at like Stone Cold and Triple H. They were great together. As
one-man power trip.
Yeah, they were great as a tag team.
I like them a lot as tag team.
Yeah, you like there are the Rock and Sock connection. Like you think about these iconic tag teams that were independent wrestlers.
Two great, big, powerful solo
that come together.
That just it's kind of like when your favorite band like kind of like those super groups that come together and you're like, okay, this is
right.
I never knew I needed this.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso.
Yes.
I wish they had a longer title run. Oh man, that was so good.
They were exactly the refreshing startup that we needed for those tag titles. So those are the four that I'm going to put out there.
I like that.
For up and coming talent.
Okay.
And again,
also a great distraction from Cody losing at WrestleMania 39.
Yes,
that's true. That is
very
true. That is true.
I guess I'll go ahead and go.
Okay, go
Let's
for it.
see. So the first person I want to talk about is Damian Priest.
Yes.
Yeah. I went to SummerSlam in Cleveland a few weeks ago, and I knew it was going to happen. I'm going to tell you guys.
Hey, Bryant, spoiler. Everyone knew.
Everyone knew that was going to happen.
Everyone
Yeah,
knew it was going to happen.
SummerSlam was by far and away a story-building pay-per-view. It was just setting the things in motion for the future. Which, by the way, Triple H, Paul Levesque, whatever you want to call him, he's been doing a dang fine job.
So good.
Man, what a not just a phenomenal booker, but a phenomenal storyteller too, and with his team that he has put in place, which you got guys like Hurricane Helms that are there.
Yes.
You've got guys like Robert Roode is now there too. Bobby Roode.
Yeah, doing
is there.
is he talent development?
He's a talent development. Now. So I mean, when you have that much talent there working in WWE, which I want to say real quick. Have you guys noticed that just like everyone seems so much happier in that company now?
Yes.
From like Michael Cole all the way to the just to the roster. Everyone.
Well, Michael Cole's happy because
he doesn't have Vince in his ear anymore.
and he gets to partner up with the goofiest dude in the
I'm gonna
world,
miss that
Pat
man
McAfee.
so much, man.
He's taking a few months off.
Pat
college
McAfee.
football.
Yeah.
I miss him so much already. But
I love him so much.
But Damian Priest. Let's get into this guy. Did you guys watch the documentary?
No.
I did not. No.
I got chills. I just got chills thinking about that documentary again. So I saw the documentary. It's a 24.
Okay.
Which they hadn't done a 24 in like 3 years on somebody.
Wow.
And I hope they bring that series back.
Wasn't Ruby Riott was one of the last ones that they did.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I love
But it talked about his story. He's from the Bronx, New York. New York born and raised. Ties to Puerto Rico, which, when they
That's
went to
where J-Lo's
Backlash. Yeah. They went to Backlash. They did that whole thing with him and Bad Bunny, which what a match that was. That was actually a surprisingly great match.
So good. Bad Bunny doing a destroyer on the outside of the
ring.
Dude,
yeah.
So
that was
good.
so awesome.
Surprised the crap out of me.
But this guy, it's kind of like we never lost Scott Hall.
Yes.
He's the epitome of Scott Hall. If Scott Hall and The Undertaker had a kid, you've got Damian Priest.
Yeah.
And, I was so thrilled for him when he cashed in and he won at WrestleMania. And
yes.
Granted, when I knew the moment that Gunther won King of the Ring, I was like, it's a wrap, man. Like,
oh, yeah.
He's going to be it. And we knew he was going to be it anyway at some
100%. And I think them giving Damian some breathing room to hold the title.
Yes.
And then giving Gunther just a great win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it helped both of them.
But,
it did help both of them.
But Damian has just been such a shining star. And now that he is effectively out of a faction and away from the Judgment Day, which they're their own thing now, I'm very excited to see where he goes, and not just with Rhea Ripley and the Terror Twins. I know that people are saying maybe they're going to have their own group. I kind of don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
I don't want because the problem with groups, and you guys know you're called the stable, is stables are good, but individuals are also just as important.
Right.
You want to be able to break away from that. The next person I'll talk about is Jey Uso.
Okay.
That's another person, was part of a real big group, the Bloodline, for a long time, which I'm imagining he's going to be finding his way back to that soon.
Yeah.
But I do feel that Jey Uso has not got – I feel he's been very underutilized lately. We haven't really seen him a whole lot. I've been pretty sad about that. I feel that he should have a singles run as a champion. Maybe maybe they could have him and LA Knight have a feud. That would be something kind of different.
Him and
You
LA
never
Knight
know.
having a feud, yeah.
I love Jey Uso. I'm a big fan of his. I think he deserves way more than he gets. My third would be Gunther. That man,
he's already in a position to just be
future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 100%.
I would say first ballot Hall of Famer at that. This guy is. I think he is the ceiling. I think he is that guy. I think he's done so much in his career in such a short span.
Really?
I do think so. Yeah, because he's.
If you
he's
see his run as Walter on the Independents.
Oh, I've seen that.
No,
I mean, the transformation of him alone. I mean, just. He was a much larger guy, bigger, kind of like Damian Priest was when he was Nightmare Martinez. If you ever watched him in the Indies, ROH,
cut a ton.
Punishment Martinez.
Punishment Martinez. Yeah, when he was in Ring of Honor, But yeah, I think Gunther still has a long way to go. I think he will eventually be the undisputed WWE Universal Champion one day. Which
I could see that.
how they get there, and then I can't not talk about my guy LA Knight.
Yeah.
He just won the belt from Logan Paul. I hope that he gets a nice long run with that title, man.
I do too.
He is. We were talking about characters.
Yeah.
He is that last. He's probably that last semi-character. Like I get Attitude Era vibes from that guy every single time he comes out. So those are my people. What about you, Josh?
I
you
gotta
going
jump in because we got like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
So,
That's right.
The good thing is two of them have already been named. I believe Damian Priest and Gunther are people to watch out for, particularly in WWE.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned women's wrestlers because I would also say people to watch out for in WWE right now are Jade Cargill. I think nothing but growth ahead of her.
Absolutely.
And Lyra Valkyria.
Yes.
Another one to really keep her eye. Keep an eye on her.
I agree.
NXT.
I'm also going to go over to Lyra's on, I think, SmackDown now or Raw.
She is on SmackDown. She's on
Raw.
She's on Raw. Yeah, that's right.
On Raw.
So, but on the AEW side of things, especially with All In coming up, and I know not as you guys may not be as up to date with that, but where I sit there from the women's division, keep your eye on Mariah May and Toni Storm.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have had 9 months of what might be the best feud in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
That is coming to a culmination at All In. But in terms of the men's side of the thing, Maxwell Jacob Friedman and Will Ospreay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
You are going to build a company on those two guys.
Absolutely,
as they are fighting
man.
each other at All In
Yep.
for the American/International Championship in Wembley in front of 50,000 people. You're going to build a company on.
That's an insane
WWE
match.
And AEW have guys right now, guys and gals, to build an entire company around, and are being supported by the present.
Yes.
It's pretty fantastic.
All right.
I could talk
Well
more,
said.
but we're out of time.
Well said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same.
I think that what we can all say is whether you're looking back, whether you're looking in the present, whether you're looking into the future, and we've said this so many times that the state of wrestling right now is pretty incredible. There are some incredible people. We didn't even play around with TNA and Impact Wrestling
I did want to add one more.
Oh, Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace is great, but I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
Joe Hendry,
there you go.
keep your eye on Joe Hendry.
Oh, we all believe in Joe Henry.
That's right.
That's the guy right there too.
That's right. That's good. That's good.
I knew I had another one. I was short on time.
That's right.
There
Okay.
you go.
I got it. Okay. So, to wrap things up, here on the Stable Podcast, we like to close things off like any good wrestling match with a 3 count. So we're gonna have some fun little quips that we're gonna finish things off. When I get done, you're gonna say the number in consecutive order. Is that right? Yes.
Sure, ascending,
1, 2, ascending consecutive order. So 1, 2, and 3.
I'm glad I can only count to 3.
That's
Thank
right.
God.
That's all you need. All right, here we go. The 3 Stable choice ice cream flavors: CEOpolitan, Rockies Road, and AEW. Thank you, Brian, for that one. 1. All right. Joe Hendry, we believe in you. 2. And finally, time heals all wounds, except for a sidekick to the forehead. 3. That's right. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Stable Podcast, episode 29. The best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. We thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us at PopCon Louisville as well. We love you all, and we will check you later.
Later.
Hey.
Deuces.